about our topic about the Rohingya refugees.
Yes, but I was surprised to learn that it doesn't only involve humanitarian concerns. It also has economic implications for Malaysia.
Oh, really?
I always hear of people discussing about refugee situation from a social perspective. How does it affect the economy?
That's what I thought at first, but after going through several academic reports from the UNHCR and other academic sources, I found out that this crisis actually affect Malaysia's economy in a few ways, like employment and public services.
Oh, interesting. What do you find?
One of the main issues would be the growth of informal labour market. Since Rohingya refugees are not legally allowed to work, they often take informal jobs to earn a living. For example, some work at restaurants and some work at construction sites without work permits. This makes it hard for government to regulate employment and collect taxes.
So it's not just about people finding jobs. It also affects the labour system itself.
Oh,
Exactly, Damia. When workers are outside the formal system, it can create challenges for labour management and also government monitoring.
So does it affect local workers as well?
Yes, Isha, another concern is the wage competition in lower skilled jobs. Since refugees are often willing to work at lower wages, many employees prefer to hire them. For example, companies may hire them at lower wage just to reduce costs. It can risk in job opportunities as well as wages for local workers.
wow, now I can see why some locals are worried about that.
That's true, Farhid. At the same time, most of them do not have choices, so it's better to see this issue from both perspectives.
Besides employment, are there any other economic impacts?
Yes, public services are also greatly affected too, especially healthcare services. Many Rohingya refugees rely on government hospitals as well as clinics for treatment, which increase demand in healthcare services as well as an adds in the government spendings. Some local communities also concerned about limited public resources.
Oh, I didn't realize the impact that was wide-ranging.
Exactly. That's why this issue is quite complicated. Malaysia wants to help vulnerable people, but at the same time, they need to manage economy and resources effectively.
It sounds like there are so many long-term consequences if these challenges continues, right?
I agree. We've thought about the current issue, but what could happen in the future if these problems are not addressed properly?
And are there any solutions that could benefit both refugees and Malaysians?
Those are important questions. We have discussed some of the main issues, but to understand about the implication as well as the possible solution, why not we hear from experts?
Oh, I've heard there are news about this. And even they have invited a few experts to share their insights and research.
Great! Let's find out what the implications are and what action Malaysia can take moving forward.
Good evening. The global economy today is facing a series of pressing challenges, from the forces of globalization and shifting trade patterns to the mounting pressures of climate change, financial instability, and international migration. These issues do not exist in isolation. For Malaysia, a trade-dependent and multi-ethnic nation, their impact is both immediate and profound. One of the most significant challenges is the refugee crisis. According to the ADS504 and Danish Refugee Council, Malaysia currently hosts around 185,000 refugees and asylum seekers. The majority of them are from Rohingya from Myanmar. This group has become one of the largest refugee communities in the country. Yet, despite their numbers, refugees are barred from legal employment. Many are pushed into informal labour markets, working in construction, manufacturing, agriculture, and services. Their participation fills critical labour gaps, but it also raises complex questions about wage levels, productivity, and the resilience of Malaysia's economy. As Malaysia balances humanitarian responsibilities with economic development, the presence of refugees highlights both challenges and opportunities. Their role in the workforce through informal is already shaping the nation's economic landscape. Now, to explore these dynamics further, we will be speaking with professionals and experts who will share their insight on how global issues, particularly the refugee crisis, are influencing Malaysia's economy and what solutions may lie ahead. I'll pass the mic to our reporter Shuhada from Global News.
Good evening once again. I'm Shuhada, and today we are examining how global challenges, particularly the refugee crisis, are shaping Malaysia's economy. To begin, let me ask Dr. Alisha from UNHCR. Malaysia is facing labour shortages, risk of exploitation and fiscal pressures on public services. From your perspective, what are the most critical implications of the refugee presence of Malaysia's economy and social
Based on
stability?
the findings, there are several important implications regarding refugee involvement in Malaysia's economy. Firstly, Malaysia continues to face labour shortage, particularly in sectors such as construction and manufacturing. This issue can reduce productivity and negatively affect economic performance because this industry rely heavily on a sufficient workforce. Secondly, refugees can help address this labour shortage. Studies have shown that refugee participation in the economy can increase productivity, support business operations, and contribute to economic growth. Many refugees are also willing to take on labour-intensive jobs that are often less preferred by local workers, helping industry meet their workforce needs. However, there are also challenges. Due to limited legal protection, many refugees work in the informal sector where they may face low wages, poor working conditions, and exploitation. Some cases have even involved forced labour and human trafficking, which can negatively affect both refugees and Malaysia's labour market. In conclusion, Malaysia should adopt balanced policies that not only address labour shortages, but also provide proper legal protection for refugees. This approach can support sustainable economic development while ensuring fair and safe working conditions for all workers.
Thank you, Dr. Alisha. Now I will ask Professor Damia from University Malaya to explain more on recommendation on this issue. Experts have suggested measures such as regulated work permits, conditional employment rights, and stronger labour law enforcement. Which of these recommendations do you believe would be most effective in turning current challenges into opportunities for Malaysia's growth?
Firstly, Malaysia should introduce a regulated refugee work permit system to allow refugees to work legally. This can help address labour shortage in key sectors while enabling refugees to become taxpayers and contribute to the economy. The government has also introduced the Refugee Registration Document or DPP to improve refugee management through better record keeping and biometric identification. This initiative can strengthen national security, improve monitoring, and support a more organised refugee management system. Secondly, refugees should be granted conditional legal employment rights. Allowing refugees to work legally can reduce dependence on informal jobs and increase economic productivity. According to IDS and the Malaysian Employers Federation, refugees can help fill labour shortage because many of working age and possess valuable skills. Integrating refugees into the formal workforce can boost GDP, support inclusive growth, and improve their economic and digital participation in Malaysia. Lastly, labour law enforcement must be strengthened to prevent forced labour and worker exploitation. Malaysia has already amended the Employment Act 1955, introducing stricter penalties for employers who engage in forced labour practice. In addition, the National Action Plan on Forced Labour 2026 to 2030 aims to further address labour rights issues. Stronger enforcement and cooperation between authorities and organisations such as UNHCR can better protect vulnerable workers, including refugees, and ensure fair and safe working conditions. So what I can conclude from this is implementing a regulated refugee work permit system, granting legal employment rights, and strengthening labour law enforcement can help Malaysia address labour shortage, improve refugees management, promote economic growth, and protect workers' rights. Thank you.
Thank you to our professionals for sharing their valuable insights. It is clear that Malaysia's economy, while challenged by global forces such as trade shift, climate pressures, and immigration, also has opportunities to build resilience. With that, I'll now pass the discussion back to our main host to continue today's coverage.
Malaysia's economy, like many around the world, is shaped by global forces, shifting trade patterns, climate pressures, financial instability, and migration. The arrival of Rohingya refugees add both challenges and opportunities to this complex landscape. We've heard tonight about the key concerns, the growth of the informal labour market, wage depression in low-skilled jobs, the fiscal burden on healthcare and aid, and the rising cost of enforcement and border control. These are real pressures that cannot be ignored. Yet, As our experts have highlighted, refugees are not only burden. With the right policies, they can help fill labor shortage, contribute to productivity, and strengthen Malaysia's economic resilience. Legal recognition and protection will also reduce exploitation and improve labor standards. Ultimately, Malaysia's path forward lies in a balanced approach, one that combines humanitarian responsibility with practical labor policies. By turning challenges into opportunities, the nation can build resilience and shared prosperity for all. That's all today from me, Nur Farahin, your favorite host from Global News.